So today I was at work and I was listening to some podcast. I'm gonna name it. It was Fear the Boot. I enjoyed their podcast quite a bit, and they are on the shorter side of podcast. I think they are doing a half an hour episode. So when they gather together, they will record like four episodes in one shot. So I was listening to one of their podcasts, and it had me thinking, and I thought I would share with you the process or the idea, or maybe provoke a discussion. So I'm gonna call this video probably Moneyballing, or Are You a Moneyballer? It's a question we can ask ourselves, and I'm gonna frame the question and how it came to be. So this podcast episode of Fear the Boot started with a brother, one of the hosts of the podcast, who started with a sentence or a statement. He stated, "I hate gaming." End of quote. And it was half serious, of course. I hate gaming. And he started to explain why he said that. He said that he had this strange relationship with gaming. He hates it because sometimes it brings impatience to him. It brings him bad memories, or he try very hard to do one thing and it frustrated his intent, or and but he said that when a game is good, he said that when it's over, he feel very sad because of course it's over, but because he know that it will take him a long time before having this feeling again. And when you have a good game, he said that it um, it, it makes him forgive all the bad experience he could have before, or all the energy he could have put into his hobby, and energies that didn't pay off. And these guys are playing all sorts of games, so we will not talk games or a specific mechanic or you should play this or that, or so. And one of the hosts mentioned the word at some point, moneyballing, and I started to think about the film with Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill, Chris Pratt. um, I think Jonah Hill won an Oscar for a secondary role for this movie, if I'm not mistaken. If you had not seen Moneyball, I can recommend it. If you like baseball movie, I'm a sucker for baseball movie, but this one is really not so much about a team winning and all that. It's more about managing a team, and this concept of moneyballing, using statistics and probability and mathematics to increase the performance of a team by science and analysis and computing technology. So, so yeah, the idea was to apply this idea of moneyballing to role-playing games. And the idea is, I ask myself, am I a moneyballer concerning RPG? When I play, when I prep a game, when I spend time in this hobby, do I try to optimize my time? Do I try to optimize my fun when I'm at the table, or am I just enjoying the ride? One of the hosts of Fear the Boot also mentioned that he gave an example that in his weekly game of Battletech, he was trying really hard to create this rigorous campaign, of Battletech, the typical Battletech experience. And then he met some other guys playing Battletech and decided to join their group. And these guys were more loose. They were more like, we're gonna play some serious game, but sometimes we will just uh, wind up a little bit and just have a fun experience. And it doesn't matter who dies, who win. We don't care. We just play BattleTech and run some dice. And he said that, and probably his weekly campaign was his intellectual playground and experiment. He was trying to create this true experience with the game. But he said, when I play with these guys in a popcorn mode, he suggests that he had the most fun, and he didn't understand why. So the idea of moneyballing came from that reflection, that sometimes if we try too hard to have that experience, that little slight of experience, that precise experience, we're trying to moneyball everything at the cost of fun, like a baseball team trying to win by mathematics and algorithms. And I ask myself this question: am I a moneyballer? Because I spend time in the bus reading books, I spend time prepping games, and I run games almost every week of the year, sometimes twice. So am I someone who optimize my fun at the expense of something else? So these days, as a family man and a father, um, my schedule is tight. It's tighter than ever. And I realize something that I do since probably the 2000s. And it's the difference between the Moneyballers and the ball players. I think when I'm at the table and the games start, I think I'm not a Moneyballer. I don't care about if the session is talking about politics in character, no dice throwing, and that's the session. I don't care. I don't mind. If the session is, let's do battle, and we rip off some character sheets, and we draw a map and we start to calculate our x's, I don't mind either. See, when I sit at the table to play, I play. I let the game flow, and that's it. I have my battle plan, or my match plan, or my session plan. But like a sport, my full attention will be at what's going on right now, and this is the game. This is where my attention is. And sometimes I will just have a look at my plan for inspiration to make the game better, whatever, as a tool. But the game is in front of me. So in that sense, I'm not a moneyballer. And before the game, this is where I might be a little bit this moneyballer. I try to optimize my time because of constraint. I try to. Um, I read twice the PDF about campaign management, and I've read countless of time the unprepared um, PDF about uh, managing or running a game and prepping a game. So I learned how to optimize my prep and Moneyball. That it's a hard word to say, by the way. Moneyball. It's for a French mouth. It's hard. Yeah. So yeah, I learned to optimize my prep, but I still need to prep to have a plan, to have a battle plan, to have a list of interesting stuff to throw at my player, to fuck with their plan and mess with their mind, and to create this web of interesting stuff. I need to have a moment to think about it before, just to have more stuff to propose them. And once the game is started, it's different. I'm not the same player. I play the moment. I try to do it. So I will turn back the question to you, maybe. Did you ever consider that you might moneyball some aspect of your game, maybe at the table playing the game, or maybe you have seen people doing it, people who want to um, optimize the fun of a whole table. And the analogy of baseball is my favorite for this. You see, when you see this movie Moneyball, where you see this team start to win, they did like a montage of the winnings and the wins and the player playing the game and the the crowd cheering and the coach being super happy and this is the Moneyball, the energy, the Red Bull equivalent of a drink. But then again, uh, there's another film called The Field of Dreams, I believe, by um, Kevin Costner. One of the most romantic movie about baseball, and I won't spoil the twist if you haven't seen yet. But just seeing these guys appearing in the field that the main character built just to play baseball, just to enjoy the moment, and the silence suddenly broken by the sound of a bat knocking a ball high into the air. And then you hear the footstep of a guy running, and the other one giving instruction to each other while everybody is waiting. Will the catcher catch the ball and throw that guy back into his his team, or will he drop the ball and this guy will continue to run as fast as he can to make ground, to make distance, to get to first base and second base and third base, maybe have a home run? There is a nearly a spiritual aspect to it, I think, that is romantic. And that aspect for me, if I try to explain what I'm trying to do as a GM when I play, that would be that. That would be that aspect of the game that has nothing to do with statistics and math. I know I can enjoy the crunch and prep before a game, but once the referee have whistle, I'm throwing my playbook away.